Welcome to another lazy Sunday. We're going to be building another kit today. So we've still got quite a few in here. Still need suggestions if you've got any on some kits to buy to make. Some of these aren't kits. They might just be. It might be a lazy Sunday project. I'm not sure. I'll tell you what. Let's have a go at LED, shall we? Whatever that might be. So, LED, let's find out what you are. So we've got a bit of paper there, which might be a schematic. It's always best to tip out all of the components and then hopefully lose some as you go. So let's get rid of that. Let's have a look what this says. So this just says LED. That's not extremely useful. We've got a microphone on there, a couple of capacitors. One's a different color. Don't know whether that means anything. So what do we have? So we've got a microphone going into a transistor, and then there's another transistor there. Okay. So does the microphone trigger the transistor? It looks like that might be the case. I mean, is it an audio level thing? Does it show you a... Well, let's just build it and find out. It might be that this is a level indicator for your volume of speech potentially. So perhaps these will light up as you speak louder into the microphone. I thought for a second there it might have been a clap switch with the microphone and a transistor there. But it looks like it might actually be just sort of a vocal level thing. So let's have a look what we've got actually. So we've got the PCB. It's got a nice silk screen on that, which is good. We've got our microphone. We've got a couple of capacitors here. This one's a 1 microfarad, and then the other one is a 47 microfarad. A couple of transistors here. Are they the same? 9014, yeah, so they're both the same. And we've got some resistors, so we've got a 4.7K, a 1 meg, and a 10K, and then we've got four of the same LEDs. So let's get our multimeter out and we'll measure those resistors. It's not actually a lazy Sunday today. I've got a fair amount done. So let's have a look at this one. Still not going to learn these. So that's our 4.7. Oops. That is our 1 meg. So I'll put them in order of size. So 4.7, 1 meg. And this should be our 10K. So 10K. So 4.7, 10K and 1 meg. This is going to be a really easy one to build. We've also got a battery connector here, which is, I don't know how useful that's going to be actually, because I don't know if I'm going to solder a battery box to this. We'll have to find out what kind of voltage it needs. This bit of paper doesn't say anything about that. Oh no, it does, 3 to 5 volts. Okay, that's fine, we can deal with that. So where's my soldering iron? Where is it? It's not actually gotten lost, it's just there. Okay, let's get started. We'll put the resistors in first, I think. So we've got the 4.7. Oh, I've messed them up now. Which one is which? So this is our 4.7. Okay, let's get that in the board. So let's pop that in here. God, those holes are tiny. There we go, and bend those legs out. And this one should be the 10K. It is. So the 10K goes on the board as well, just over here. I'm still borrowing work's camera. I'm hoping they don't mind. I'm going to take it back every day, but until I buy a camera, we're going to make do with this one. Now, I've been looking at a camera called the Panasonic Lumix G7, I think it is. So that's a 4K camera. I figured if I'm going to get a new camera, it may as well be an upgrade from the one that I currently have, which is now broken, which is a Canon 600D, which I thought was a 500D for a long time because I never really bothered looking at it. So yeah, I figured I might as well get a 4K one. Now, not because you can really see a big resolution difference between the 1080p cameras and the 4K ones on a standard resolution monitor, on a HD monitor. It's because I can do something like this and zoom in to double the scale of this 4K camera. And on a 1080p monitor, you won't be able to see the difference. Or I can release it on at 1080p and just jump in and out of the footage, which is nice. So we've got one of these transistors needs to go in here. And they've got sort of a blocky outline there. So I'm going to assume it goes like that. It goes that way around. It's going to make it a little bit unstable putting these in now, but if you've watched any of these other ones, you'll know that I'm not one for doing everything properly. I do like it when you guys scream at the screen, so that's what we're doing. And this one will bend out that way. Anyway, this is just meant to be a nice, relaxing pastime for a Sunday. It is not meant to be anything more than that. There we go. That's sort of in there nicely. Let's bend those pins a little bit because it's dropping out. And I think that's possibly the best time to... Actually, I could put the microphone in. Now, we're going to have to look at the polarity of that, are we? Oh, actually, look how helpful that is. On the silkscreen there, you can see some lines, and there are silkscreen lines there. Not silkscreen, but lines on this one to tell you which one's the positive and the negative. So that is good. And I can see that they join together, so it's going to go around that way, I believe. Yeah. So it goes... Well, it's slightly off center there, look. But it fits. Hopefully that's the right way around. Do you know what? I'm just going to put all of the components in. And I think it's probably going to sit nicely as it is. We don't need this on, actually. I'm just going to be wasting my battery. I say it'll sit nicely. These LEDs will go really odd when I try and solder them if I don't pick it up afterwards. And there, I thought I'd lost one. Actually, I have lost one. There's only 4 here. I need 5. Oh. No, it's inside the packet. There we go. Out you get. I put a video up the other day with the outdoor temperature sensor, and some people offered up some nice suggestions regarding that, so it was good. I think that's going to be. It's going to be okay. We'll be all right with that, I think. Right, LED can go over there. Let's get these soldered up, shall we? Right, where's my thingamabob? What is even this thing called? Sort of just like brass shavings, isn't it? Let's tin up a little bit. And then we'll see if this board jumps around too much. If it does, then perhaps we'll use Julian's blue tack technique. Someone suggested that would be a good idea, but different strokes for different folks and all that. Julian is incredibly clever though, so maybe I should follow his example. Whoa, I put a fair amount on there. I don't have the best soldering technique in the world. But it seems to work fine. Let's tack these individual LEDs on, and then we can adjust them afterwards if we only put one of those on. Do you want to come in a bit closer maybe? There you are, you're as close as you're going to get, and without too much difference in lighting, hopefully. Ooh. I'm just going to hold on to the board there just for a second, I think. There we go. What else have we got left here? A couple of these ones. Kind of makes the board very unstable. I'll tell you what, we'll come back to those in a second. Let's get rid of some of those leads, shall we? Can certainly get rid of the microphone leads. And this transistor here. And these two LED ones. these are the resistor leads. Let's just pop those off. And then I've got one lead for that, and I need to adjust these LEDs. You'll see that they've probably gone a bit wonky there. So let's just get the soldering iron up and heat those a little bit and readjust. There we go. And that one. Oops. A bit premature. There we go, that's nicer, isn't it? Okay. Let's continue with this transistor over here. Oops. Right, what do we have left? We've got that. We've got a couple of things over here, so let's try and hold the board down while we do this. It's difficult. I really should just hold the board down differently. Let's just, there we go. Right, so that is almost everything. We just need this other side of LEDs. Let's come back out a bit because it's a bit lighter when I do that. If I can, I'm not quite sure what this one is, where I got it from. So if I can find a link, I'll do that. God, they fly off, these ones. I don't even know where they're going. If I can find a link, I'll pop it in the description, but I don't think I know what this one is. So it might be a bit of a mystery. And let's do the rest of these LEDs. Oops. This is a bit dirty there. Let's try that again. There we go, it's better. Then that is it, isn't it? Oh, well, the capacitors, we've got to pop those on there. So let's cut these leads off and get those capacitors in. That's going to cause havoc with my Hoover. Right, capacitors. So this is a 1 microfarad capacitor, and that just goes in here. Make sure it's the right way round. There we go. And then this is the 47 microfarad capacitor. Again, make sure it's the right way round. You can see they've left a space for a much larger capacitor there. So it might be that at one time they had different stock in. Right, well, just going to annoy myself by doing this, aren't I? There we go, that's better. I'm approaching it from a different angle, seems to help. There we go. That one hit me in the face. So that is some ugly soldering, isn't it? Look at that. Well, it's done. Don't have to worry about that now. Shall we strip these wires? Do we want to do that? Have we got anything to put it onto? I think we might be better off just putting a battery box on there rather than using these. So let me just go and grab one. All right, so I've got this battery box here. I think we can just use this one. We'll just solder it straight to the board, I think. So positive in that side, negative in the other. Let's flip it over and solder those on. Just use my pair of pliers there just to hold that board down while I do this. Now, ordinarily I'd be a bit better at soldering, but I'm quite far away because of the camera position, so I'm having to do this without being very close. And the problem is with that is I'm getting older, so my eyesight is not quite as good. Now, let's take the batteries out of that ESP8266 thing, and we'll see what we get. I think this might be one of these explodey ones, potentially. Actually, before we short anything out, let's get rid of some of those. Maybe it's one of these ones that's going to likely go wrong on me, but who knows. The last one. Okay, so hello. No, okay, so I don't, is it just a clap switch? Well, it detects loud noises. No. Okay, so it doesn't detect very loud noises. It's just, so it's kind of like a clap switch. Well, as is always the case with these lazy Sunday things, there is a problem. A mistake was made, but it wasn't my mistake. We've got the diagram here and it shows our microphone. One side goes to ground and one side is going to VCC via a 4K7 pull-up and then through the capacitor to get rid of any of that sort of AC, it's DC blocking. So the problem here is the microphone was the wrong way around on the board. Not my fault either. So if you follow these tracks, we can see that that pin there for the microphone goes into ground on that side. Now actually this microphone has these little lines as indicated on the silk screen to show that ground should go to the other side. Now we can check this out. We did this in another video actually with the FM microphone, and you can figure out which is ground on these. Let's just bring this in. All it's going to do is make a beep, but you can figure out which side is ground on the microphone just by touching the case. So I know that that side is ground, but the diagram tells me that ground has to go to, the microphone is going to ground, but on here you've got the silk screen telling me that ground is this side. Ground is the one with all these little lines coming off, but actually it needs to be the reverse. And so we get a very different behavior from the device when it is actually put in the right way round. And so the silk screen is telling me that it was the wrong way round. So let's solder that in. Get my soldering iron going. So we want ground, which is this pin here, to be on this side, which means that if we look at it that way round, that those lines are going to the other side. So the diagram itself is wrong, that's on the silk screen, which is very frustrating. But we do get different behavior from this little board when we get it the right way round. So let's solder that in. I think I'll have to put a bit more solder on there to make this work. So let's just push that up. Not quite there yet. Let's give that another go. Let's try and cover both pins at one time. There we go. Let's flood a little bit more solder on there. There we go. Now, when I put the other battery in, the last battery, this one will do. Instead of getting just a flash, it's quite bright, isn't it? We get something that behaves a little bit better with my voice. So it does detect the sound. It isn't just a clap switch. It lights them all up with a smaller level of sound. So the silk screen is wrong, the diagram is correct. So that's what we should take away from it. So I've just looked up the listing and it says it's a tone to light melody something or other. I'll put a link in the description so you can see it. But yet again, something I've either messed up or the silk screen was wrong. I'll leave it up to you to decide, but I think the silk screen is incorrect because those lines on the other side of the microphone, which mirror the lines on the silk screen, are on the wrong side. So I guess a few people probably will have done that wrong if they were looking at the silk screen rather than just looking at the schematic. Anyway, that's that then. It is actually something that works and is a bit of fun. It's an odd one. This isn't a very good Lazy Sunday. It hasn't taken very long to do, but it's been fun all the same. All right, I'll see you next time when I think we're going to have something a little bit more interesting. If the stuff that I've got coming from China arrives, one of them is going to be super cool. It is, should I ruin it? Well, it's sort of like a Tesla coil, so that'll be fun. But it hasn't arrived yet, but I ordered it about a month ago, so I'm hoping it arrives very soon. There are some other ones in there. There's, is it another digital clock I think I've got coming, which is an LED one. There's a really cheap and nasty LED project coming, which will be really, really fun to play with. In fact, I'm going to get a new cutting mat for that very video. I'm not sure what else there is, but there'll be quite a few. But again, if you've got any suggestions, if you've seen anything that you think would make a good Lazy Sunday video much better than this one, then do let me know.